Hi folks, this is John from Sharp Mountain Games, and I hope that you're seeing me and that everything's coming through all right on the video. I already started talking, so I hope that's good. And here we are. So what I wanted to do this afternoon is finish a superhero game that I started before, and I'll make sure to link below so that you can easily find these two videos together. And that way, you can watch them both together if you want, if you missed the first session. So here we are, and a couple of little points here at the beginning. And I hope the audio is good. I know, folks probably are watching this in the recorded version rather than the live version. And my son was very kind enough to give me a lamp, so I'm hoping that we're better lit here than usual. I can't put the lamp right on it because it just blows everything out. So let's talk about what this is. This is a superhero system and a superhero game. And let me show you the superhero cards here so you can see how all this works. So I have a spider in red, an ice character in blue, and a fire-based character in yellow. And no, they're not based on any 1980s very popular cartoon show that I really, really love. No, nothing at all. And then I wrote out my superheroes here on some index cards, and I'll just put those up here out of the way where I can see them, but you don't need to see them for the whole thing. But I'll put them in on my keyboard up here, just out of the way. But let me show you this one to begin. So everything is a D20 roll. So here's my D20, and it's all roll at or under. So if our fire-based character is trying to shoot fire, that's probably dexterity. So she'll roll a dexterity, and she got a 5, well under 14, so no issues there. But then we have to decide, okay, what's she trying to do? If it's a fire blast, it's a D10. So that's the effect dice. Oh, and that's a 9, so that's really good. So the effect dice acts as damage in combat, but also it could be, maybe she's trying to melt something, a device or something, or a bomb, and trying to melt it. That's going to have a certain number of, not so much hit points, but I call them scene points. It's something I'm sure I borrowed from Index Card RPG. So, you would need to overcome a certain number of points for that to happen. So this is a homebrew system. But it's always great for me to play these because it helps me to tweak it. And you might say, well, why don't you just play this or that particular system? And I have nothing against any other systems, that's true. But I'm a really, really big fan of simple systems for homebrew and for solo play especially. So this gives me a chance to tweak. So what I wanted to do was kind of give you a recap of what happened in the first session, because I know folks may not have watched the first session. And let me just adjust the camera a little bit here. So this takes place in Sharp Mountain City. And last time, our heroes rescued a shopkeeper, and he was being robbed for his electronics. They spoke with Officer Ferrigno, who works for the local police, who said that this ultra-cooling technology was being stolen. Now, they got some information and tracked the robbers to a secret warehouse lab. However, they set off the alarms trying to get in. Sometimes the dice don't go your way. You got to honor the failed roll and honor the successful roll too, but especially the failed ones. Now, in there, they faced one of the villain's lackeys, but also these robots who were encased in ice. So they were ice-based robots. And they found out that the lackey was working for Chillax, who is a cold-powered villain, kind of a Mr. Freeze type, but with an axe, so he's a little more combat-oriented. But he's also a super scientist. Now, he's created icebergs in the harbor, and he plans to shut off all shipping into the city unless he's paid billions and billions of dollars. So this could be a real problem with shutting off all supplies coming into the city and, in fact, on the greater East Coast. So that's where we are now, and today's session I don't think is going to be super, super long, maybe 15 minutes or so, but we'll see. We'll see how long things take. So here's our three heroes, and we're going to have them start off our scene, have them conferring with the police chief, or the police officer, Officer Ferrigno here. And they're asking him, well, how do we get out into the harbor? Spider says, could we possibly borrow like a boat or something to get out there? And our fire character says, yeah, but then that might make us, very easy to spot here. And the officer says, well, I don't know that the police are going to loan you a boat. I mean, you're vigilantes. So let's see. I would say that's like a 1 in 6 chance that he's going to loan them a boat. 5, no. It's just not realistic. He's not going to give civilians a boat here for something like this. So they put their heads together and think about things. And our ice character says, well, you know what I could do, and this might get us in more stealthily. I could create a little iceberg that we could go in, kind of like an iceberg boat. And then fire could, heat up the back kind of like steam and make, sort of like a water jet that will propel them towards the iceberg. And all the while we're doing this, we have to determine which iceberg that is. Now, our spider character has some science ability, so he does ask the chief, well, could I at least take a look at your radar and your electronic devices here, for scanning the harbor? Maybe I can at least get some information. And now let's see if anybody else has anything to help him. Yeah, because we really want, them to be able to find this particular iceberg. Otherwise, they'll be, puttering around all afternoon in the harbor. So our ice character, he has computers. So let's see if he rolls successfully, then I'm going to let our spider roll against his science with advantage. So a 2, that's pretty good. So our ice character, he says, look, let me take a look at the computers, and he's able to get some special ability there, some special knowledge, and we're going to then have our spider character, and let's see, his science is a D8. Let's just roll to see what it is. I don't have the difficulty set really, really high for this one, but he's going to roll with advantage since he had the assist from our ice character. And let's see what he does. And let's see. The 19 is no good. That's too high. But his intelligence is a 12. No, he's just not getting good information. So he says, oh, I'm sorry. I just wasn't able to crack it. So we'll have to be out there a little bit longer. Now, what I'm going to do is that means I'm going to give them a little bit of a penalty later on when they're trying to maybe sneak on the iceberg, figuring, they had to go around and look at things. Oh, and also I have a little sheet of paper here just with the hit points and stuff on it for me to keep track of. That's not super important. But the officer, well, I wish you well. He said, we'll be busy here at police headquarters trying to think of an alternate plan, but I certainly wish you well on your way out there. So they are going to go to the edge of the harbor. They are going to make their ice boat. Do I have something here that could be an ice boat? I guess this could be an ice boat, this little box here, right? Can work. You got to work with what you have. Now, how are we going to do this? So they're out going to the iceberg, and I'm going to say they each need to make 3 rolls, and there's 15 scene points here. So within those 3 rolls, they have to get a total of 15 scene points. And what that's going to do is represent how well our ice character here can make his ice boat and try and keep them hidden, keep things angled the way it's supposed to be. And then what we'll do is and then how well is our ice character doing her thing. So let's see how they do. So I'm going to say probably for both of them, that's going to be dexterity. Oh, that's good. They're both very dexterous characters. So that's going to be a 14 or less. All right, there's our first 2 rolls. So we got a 4 and a 2. Oh, that's great. And we've got 10. Oh, we only have 5 more scene points. So they're going to be able to easily, hopefully, get around here and get close to the iceberg. And I'll be honest with you, folks, I'm still deciding, myself playing through this, how high I want to set difficulty numbers and the scene point numbers. I'm still figuring all that out. So let's see how we do here. The 6 is good, but the 18 is not. So those are the blue dice. I should be using the yellow dice for the fire character, but we'll use it this time. Oh, 5 more points. Okay, so they are just fine here. So what I'm going to say then is while they're doing that, our spider character, again, is going to try and do that detection that he was trying to do earlier. But I said, but he would definitely have some penalty there. So we'll do that at disadvantage. And let's see what his intelligence is, 12. Oh, look at that. Very nice. 11 and 2. That's exactly what I was kind of hoping for. So they are able to get towards the iceberg here. And let's see. I don't have an iceberg, to show you there, folks. But that's okay. So they're going to come out here. And here's our iceberg. I hear my phone ringing, but I'm going to ignore it. So, could be one of my families too, my wife or something. So they're going to be very stealthily park the thing, and they're going to start looking around this iceberg. My little popsicle sticks will just show where the iceberg is. Maybe I'll move it over here so we have a little bit more room. And let's see. So there is a security lock here. It only has 3 scene points. So let's see how we're going to do that. I think that's going to be more of a computer's role for our ice character. But Spider says, I have a little bit of science. Maybe that could help a little bit. Let's see if that helps at all. 9, so that does help. So we'll let our ice character, now he's rolling under his intelligence. And his computers is a D6 here. Oh, yeah, he's fine. Only 1 point. Oh, so they're not quite through yet. Let's give it another try. So he still has 4 more scene points to take care of here. I might have set that a little. Right, it's only 3. So let's see on the I think reasonably he could do a second try here. No, he's having trouble getting through. So we'll try a third time. But again, I think there'll be a penalty because he's failing on this. 12. Oh, he is just not getting through. And our fire character says, well, let's just step aside. I'm going to just burn through the lock here. We have to get going. We have to take care of things. And they might know we're here. So we've really got to, get this going. So she's going to use her dexterity to do a fire blast, which is a D10. And let's see how that goes. Yeah, no problem. And she got the other points. So she blasts through. And they make their way further into the iceberg, to see where the layer would be. All right, so let's see how stealthy they are. How are we going to do this? So let's say, I think just a simple, basically 1 scene point. So basically, it's just if they get it, they get it. Let's have, we'll do a group check on their dexterity. So 14, they're all good. 14, 14, and 14. So if 2 or more make it, we're good. That's the way they do the group checks in 5e, so we'll steal that. 5, 19, and 10. Ooh, it was close with that 19. All right, so they sneak up, and what they see, maybe they're like on a little balcony. They're kind of above things. This can be like a little balcony. And they sneak ahead, and what they see down below is they see our villain, Chillax, and he is working at his computer, his big device to put all this ice in the harbor and cause all kind of issues. And he has 2 of those ice robots guarding him, and he is chuckling, and he has his ice axe over his shoulder. And I should make some notes about the robots. We'll call them R1 and R2. The one over here is R1, and that'll be R2. And then Chillax, because I have to note what their scene points are so that we have them. Now, of course, our heroes wouldn't know what they are, but that's okay. And, of course, in true Saturday morning fashion, our spider character tells him, something like, you better stop that, Chillax. We're about to put you on ice. And we're going to roll for initiative. And initiative here is D6. So 1, 2, 3 is good for the heroes. 4, 5, 6 is good for the villains. Oh, 1, 2, 3, good. So our heroes go first. And we're just going to go across. So our spider character, oh, I think he's going right for the big guy. I think he is going to swing in and just try and swing in and hit him. So I'd say that's going to be a melee attack, which is strength and super strength. And so he needs under a 10. But if he gets it, his D10 is going to be good here. Nope, doesn't get it. I knocked my people over with my my dice roll, but that's okay. And I says, we've got to work together. We've got to work together to try and take out that big guy. He's not as worried about the robots just yet. So he says, you're going to distract him with the fire, and then I'm going to try and ice him up, and then you're going to try and hit him with your fire blast. So our ice character is not going to try. Let's kind of bring them down a little bit more into the mix here. I don't have a like a little glass or something to indicate that she's flying, but you just have to imagine that. So he's going to try and, ice him up. And if he's successful, he doesn't do any damage, but it'll give advantage and possibly full damage then on her attack. So let's see if he's successful. A 10, well under his dexterity. So I don't roll for any scene points because that doesn't, like I said, it doesn't basically do any damage. It just, for one turn, will goof him up. So then let's see how our ice character does. She's going to use her dexterity and her fire blast here. Oh, and with advantage, yeah, we're fine. We were good on both of those. And her fire blast is a D10. So she's able to give him a good singe. He hollers, ah! But they're over. They're done. So let's have our ice robots. They kind of wade in here. They're going to go for the ones on the ground, and he is going to use his ice axe. Maybe he can throw an icicle up into the air there, and let's see how that goes. So we'll have our bad guy go first, and let's see, what's his, he's 14 and a D12 to try and zap at her. And let's see how he does. 6 for 5 points of damage. And she's down a bit from the previous session. So she definitely gets that ice into her and, feels it in her bones. Okay, then let's have our ice robots go. Let's see how they do. Oh, they're a D8 for their damage. And I'll just roll them both at once. Let's roll them both at once. And then we'll roll damage as needed. So we'll go, the black one is after the spider, the black dice, and the gray dice is for our ice guy. Okay, so our ice character takes some damage there. Let's see how many scene points. He loses 6 scene points. Ooh, that has him both down to 7. And our villain Chillax, of course, hollers and cackles. Ha ha! You're too late. I've set the device to explode shortly. It will freeze the whole harbor, no matter what here. All right, so our spider is he's using his super strength, and he is taking a pop at him. He is just so upset at this, and his super strength is a D10. Oh, 20, misses. He's having a bad afternoon here. But again, Ice says, we're going to try it again. And he is going to try to freeze him again. Oh, that's good. So that will give advantage to our fire character. I'm trying to keep the combat moving because I know combat can get boring. Oh, actually, I don't need to roll the effect dice, but it's already in there. We'll roll it. Yeah, she's good. So she is going to take him out. Now, the reason I'm using scene points is because we're not using something where, okay, now we need to make a death save, but she has frozen him or hurt him so badly she singed him, and he had, frozen him to the ground. So he is out of the picture, and that's good. Now, let's deal with our robots because they do get to go. So they're going to just You know, they must be on autopilot. They didn't go out when our chillax was brought down. And let's see, again, the black one is after the spider, the black dice, and the gray dice is for, yeah, they both hit for after the ice character. And let's see, I think they're a D8. I should have another set of dice going. Could go this quicker. So 8 on spider and 5 on ice. Uh-oh. He's way down. Because this isn't like D&D where you can quaff a healing potion. And our spider character says, I got to shut that thing down. You guys take care of these knuckleheads. So he is going to use all of his ingenuity to try and shut down this ice ray. And the ice ray does have some scene points. I have it set at 10. I don't know if that's too much or too little, but I guess we'll see. So his intelligence is a 12. So the spider's in there. He is working and trying to get at it. And his science is an effect dice of D8. So let's see. Maybe he can take a bite out of crime here. Let's see. Yeah, 5 and 6. So that's not too bad. So he says, I'm making progress, but I don't have it shut down yet. And I'm going to say it's going to be 3 rounds. So he's had 1 round to shut it down. That way we put a little bit of a timer on it. Maybe I should have had the timer start from the beginning of combat, but I didn't. Okay, so our ice guy, he's just trying to damage these robots, and the same thing with the fire. They're our fire character. They are not trying anything too fancy here. They're just trying to blast them. And let's see. So our ice character misses, and our fire character hits, and she hits for... because these guys haven't even been damaged yet. She hits the robot for 4 points of damage. Okay, so back to the good guys. We're allowed to have good guys, right? So let's see how our spider does. And his science is a D8. 4 would be really good if he gets at least 4 scene points. Oh, look at that. He hit his intelligence of 12, and 7 is plenty to shut down the ice ray. I've shut it down, he hollers. I'll be joining you in a second. So they'll be able to reverse the damage here. Oops, I'm losing my... I guess laying him down was a bad idea. Maybe we'll put him off to the side. I really like these little peoples because when they lay down, they don't move at all. The rounded ones do, the old wooden ones. Okay, so let's see. Spider was taken care of here. So we've got to see what our fire and ice do here. 17 is no good. That would be for this. And I rolled a red instead of a blue, but that's all right. We'll keep it for the 1. So our ice character zaps at the robots for 3 points of damage. And that's good. Let's see. I think it was this one that took... No, I have it on the first one. So we'll do 7 and 4. Okay. Unfortunately, the robots are going again. And their skill is a 10, so... Or 12, excuse me. So 12 or better, they hit. Or 12 or under, they hit. Yeah, both of them hit. And they hit ice for 1 point. He is down to 1 scene point. Things are not looking too good for him. And fire is down to 4. So she still has some life left in her. So our spider, he is going to try to web this guy. And the reason for that is then maybe ice can get advantage on his roll. So that would be a dexterity. So he needs a 14 or less. Oh, good. So that means our ice character is going to get advantage. Let's roll 2 blues. Because blue is for the ice guy. Yeah, no problem. And that means he does full damage. And he takes him out. Okay, now unfortunately we can only do the 1 advantage because of the number of heroes. So fire is going to try to blast him. It says, I'm getting tired of you. 3 and 6. Oh, he's down to 1 point. So this robot is wobbly and wonky and in all kind of bad shape. he is going to go over after Phaeriss is going to go after our spider character here, try and pull him down off the machine and do some damage to him. And let's see how he does. No, he misses. Okay, so these three are all able to turn their attention to this last robot. And let's see how they do. Yeah, it looks like everybody hits. And what's he got left? He doesn't have too much left. So let's see. D10 for super strength. D10 for ice blast. All right, so let's see what we're doing. 4, 5. Yeah, he's out of the picture. So they all kind of step back, lean against something and catch their breath. Boy, that was a tough one. You Spider says, you folks really got badly beat up. And they contact Officer Ferrigno, and they tell him, I assume there's somebody has a cell phone here. Got to have a cell phone, unless we're playing it that it's taking place in the 1980s. So they contact Officer Ferrigno, and they tell him to come out, and wrap everybody up. And Spider-Man makes sure that, or the Spider character, I don't know if I can, I don't know what the legality is of using licensed characters on an RPG kind of thing is. There are people who play Star Trek and stuff, but that's beside from that. Our Spider, not copyrighted character, kind of webs up Chillax especially. The robots, they just take apart. And they head out. They don't wait for the police to get here because they're relatively new heroes. So although they've had a good interaction with Officer Ferrigno, they don't really know their status. So they are going to head off into the sunset, basking in their success. Now, as they're going home, Ice says to the Spider character and Fire, I wonder where he got his funding for all this. I wonder if there's not some bigger organization behind this. Maybe we should contact some more established heroes and try and find out what's going on. And the Spider character says, well, that might be something to think about. Might lead us to further troubles and further work for us. But, we do have to get back to our civilian lives and our college classes and our jobs and things like that, so we can afford to have our apartments and all and take care of things. But at least we were successful today. It's a shame. Nobody will know that we did all this, but that's not why we do it. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I think that's a good stopping point. Actually, this ran a lot longer than I thought. I thought, this is going to be like 10 minutes, like one battle, and it's going to be like 10 minutes. But it wasn't. I had to, it lasted a little bit longer than that. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm really glad because I got to wrap things up. I don't know about you, but I hate when you do a game and the story doesn't end. I've had that happen at conventions. You just run out of time. I've had it happen as a player at a convention game, and I've had it happen as a GM where maybe I overplanned, and I do try to give them, a nice stopping point, but in my mind, things are still, it's kind of always hanging, and I guess that's just part of gaming. So I was really happy to wrap this up, and if you liked it, please, if you could leave me a comment. If you really didn't like it, please don't be nasty. But if you did, if you liked it, or you'd like to see more, or you'd like to see a different type of game, maybe a science fiction game, like I said, like sort of a Star Trek or a Star Wars type game, because I've certainly run those, please let me know in the comments, because that would be great. And I thank you so much for watching and spending a little time with me here today.